Everything should be distinct on the inside, yet our appearance to follow the herd. When you wake up in the morning, consider how fortunate you are to be alive and to have the ability to think, enjoy, and love. You have control over your thoughts, not external circumstances. The first rule is to maintain an unflappable spirit. The second is to see things as they are. Recognize this, and you will discover that he endures more suffering than is required. He endures more suffering than is necessary, because he is like the rock that the waves constantly crash against, but it remains stable and controls the rage of the surrounding water. People are thrifty when it comes to protecting their own belongings, but when it comes to wasting time, they are most wasteful of one thing in which it is appropriate to be stingy. Nature has given us one tongue and two ears, which allow us to hear from others twice as much as we talk. When we start to live without things, we don't realize how unnecessary many of them are. We've been using them not because we needed them, but because we had them. If a man doesn't know which port he sails, no wind is favorable. If you truly want to escape the things that bother you, what you need is not to be in a different place, but to be a different person. We all care more about other people's opinions than our own, even if we all love ourselves more than they do. Here's a tip to keep in mind going forward. If something makes you feel resentful, it's not bad luck. Rather, it's excellent fortune. Man defeats the world by defeating himself. Stop wasting time debating what a decent man ought to be. Determine the state of your mind by the things you consider. If anything is incorrect, don't do it. If something is untrue, don't mention it. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a reality. Everything we see is a viewpoint, not the truth. Luck is what occurs when opportunity and preparation collide. It doesn't matter what happens to you. What counts is how you respond to it. Death smiles at us all, and all we can do is smile back. The more we value things beyond our control, the less control we have, and nothing lasts but change. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. Knowing oneself is the beginning of all wisdom. A person's value is determined by the things that he values. Therefore, if you want to become better, be happy to be seen as ignorant and foolish. Anger, if unchecked, sometimes does more harm to us than the damage that causes it. No man ever became intelligent by accident when someone is courageous. Their perception of hurt is released, and the injury itself vanishes. Fate leads the willing. There is never a shortage of time for the person who puts the finishing touches on their life each day. It's just a matter of realizing that you possess something more potent and miraculous than the things that influence you and cause you to move like a puppet. The reluctantly dragged what we do now echoes in eternity while we wait for life to pass. Having few desires rather than many valuable goods is what defines riches. Keep quiet most of the time, or if you do talk, say just what is required in a few words. All harshness originates from weakness, and greatness comes after a difficult journey. Do everything you do as if it were your last act. Anything can happen at any time. Anything can happen today. Don't explain your philosophy. Don't think it's impossible for anyone to accomplish. Freedom is secured not by the fulfillment of men's desires, but by the removal of desire. Circumstances don't make a man, they only reveal him to himself. The key is to surround yourself with positive people, whose presence calls forth your best qualities. Humans have come into the world for each other's sake, so either teach them or learn to live with them. It can ruin your life only if it destroys your character. Otherwise, it cannot harm you internally or externally. Your happiness depends on the quality of your thoughts. Mastery of reading and writing calls for a master, and life is even more. Short and anxious for those who forget the past, ignore the present, and fear the future. Your days are limited. Use them to open your soul's windows to the sun. If you don't, the sun will soon set and you will lose it. Sometimes even living is an act of courage. It's not that we have little time, but rather that we waste a lot of it. If you look closely, you will see that everything happens as it should. How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it. He who fears death will never do anything worthy of a man who is alive. We live only now, everything Else is either past or is unknown. Progress is not achieved by luck or accident, but by working on yourself daily in banquets. Remember that you entertain. To guest body and soul, and whatever you shall have given to the body, you soon eject. But what you shall have given to the soul you keep. Always no person has the power to have everything they want, but it is in their power not to want what they don't have, and to cheerfully put to good use what they do have, if what you have seems insufficient. To you then, though you possess the world, you will yet be miserable. He is the most powerful who has power over himself. Difficulties strengthen. The mind is labor, does the body, as is a tale. So is life, not how long it is, but how good it is what matters. Life, if well lived, is long enough. The best answer to anger is silence, greed. But nature placed a limit on that, just as it did on eating and drinking. Man can only find a more peaceful or trouble-free haven than within himself. The person who hurt him was either stronger or weaker than him. If weaker, spare him. If stronger, spare yourself. The obstacle to action is what gets in the way of action. Wishing to be well is a part of getting well. Receiving without arrogance, releasing without struggle. If you say that you want a fig, I respond that there must be time for it to first flower, then yield fruit, and finally mature. Nothing wonderful is made overnight, no more than a cluster of grapes or a fig. No man can avoid his fate, and we suffer more often in our imaginations than in the actual world. The next question is how he should spend the time he has left. The future is uncertain, so live in the moment. Dab. Every new beginning stems from the end of another beginning. But life is brief and stressful for those who fear the future. Ignore the present and forget the past. We suffer not because of the things that happen in our lives, but rather because of how we perceive them. We cannot control the events themselves. Nothing is inherently bad, not even death, unless we fear it. If something bad is said about us, correct yourself. If it is untrue, correct yourself. Laugh at it. No man is free who is not a master of himself. Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself and your way of thinking. If you live in harmony with nature, you will never be poor. If you live according to what others think, you will never be rich. Learn to be indifferent to what makes no difference, and attach yourself to what is spiritually superior regardless of what other people think or do. Hold on to your true aspirations regardless of what is going on around you. The greatest benefits of humanity are found inside and accessible to us. A wise man is happy with his lot in life, no matter what it may be, and does not want for what he does not have. He is more concerned with his imagined worries about actual issues than with actual ones. Small-minded individuals place the blame on others, while ordinary people place the blame on themselves. The intelligent see all blaming as absurd. Our life is long, but we make it so that we are not under-profited, so we squander what we have. Respect the past and keep the door open to the future. Regardless of what life throws at you, maintain your composure.